Hello, my name is Matthias and welcome to the FPL Scope and this video where I'm once again going to go through something that is in my FPL guide that I published this Tuesday. So yesterday I went through the starting lineups for each and every Premier League team. This time around I'm going to go through something more FPL specific or more Game Week 1 specific, I should say, in terms of picking a squad for Game Week 1, because that is the first part of the FPL guide that I have published on the fplscope.com/FPL guide. You can check out the guide yourself in the description as well. But first, I'm going to go through in this video. Hopefully, you stay with me and watch as I go through the squads that I've selected. 4 different squads, 4 very different squads with some different types of gimmicks, basically, that I'm going to go through in this video with you here today. And we have 4 squads, as you can see. And as I am saying right now as well, I'll tell you, the first squad is the template squad, which is the squad with the players that are the most commonly used, especially among FPL content creators and people online that are engaged in FPL content as well. After that, we have the differential squad, which is completely different from the template squad. We have some differential players that you might not have considered, might have considered, some players that are pretty good in consideration as well for Game Week 1, even though they aren't quite as popular as the template picks. We also have the early chips squad, which is a pretty interesting take on things, where we try to go and have the bench boosting Game Week 1, the triple captaincy potentially in Game Week 2, free hit in Game Week 3, and then that team is still pretty good, I think, for at least a couple more game weeks. So that would probably still mean an early wildcard, which would make sense because it's an early chips team, but that's also an interesting team to look at. And then finally, we have the zombie team, which is where we try to select the team that is going to last from Game Week 1 through Game Week 38 without any changes, no transfers, no chips used, no nothing, and trying to get the most amount of points. Some people play FPL that way as well, so I want to give those guys something to watch as well. But yeah, these are my initial teams for the guide. I'm going to update all of these teams as the season or preseason goes along up until Game Week 1, where I'll have one final edition of each of the teams, I'm sure. So yeah, it continuously gets updated if I feel the need to, especially the template, for example. That could always change with new signings and people leaving or changing teams, especially, for example, if Mohamed Salah would leave would not leave, if Isak would join Liverpool, then a lot of people would leave Salah out of their teams in FPL, is what I'm trying to say, I guess. But yeah, let's just go into the FPL guide here and I can show you. Let's go to the FPL template squad first. As you can see, 4 different squads and tactics. We have a lot of different squads. This is the template squad, as you can see. A lot of players that are really popular amongst FPL content creators and engaged managers, for sure. So in goal, we have Sanchez and Kelleher. Both are really popular as like a singular goalkeeper, but if you're looking at a bench boost potential, you have a pretty nice option there with Sanchez and Kelleher. I think this template squad actually has 0.5 in the bank as well, so you actually have some extra cash even though you've spent 9.5 on goalkeepers, which is far from ideal, but it's 2 of the most commonly picked goalkeepers in Sanchez and Kelleher. Obviously, there is another goalkeeper, Trafford, who is, as soon as he's going to be transferred to Man City, he's probably going to become the template goalkeeper, so that's going to change this squad, and that's going to be, again, changed accordingly on the FPL Scope guide as well, that you can check out in the description, as I told you. In the defense, we have 5 players in Virgil van Dijk, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Ezri Konsa, Destiny Udogie, and Maxim de Kuiper from Brighton. All these guys have good or to decent Game Week 1 fixtures. Konsa plays Newcastle at home. It's not the best fixture, but he is still a really popular pick. I'm not quite as fond of him as most people. I don't really understand why he's so popular, because he isn't particularly good when it comes to the defensive contributions thing, and he's also playing for a team that keeps conceding like 1 or 2 goals, and he also plays for a team that doesn't have a starting goalkeeper in the first game because Emi Martinez is out suspended, so they're going to have to rely on their backup goalkeeper for that game. But the rest of the defense, pretty good. Virgil van Dijk and Wan-Bissaka have been in a lot of my drafts. Udogie as well, who might be injured. That's the thing. He is injured currently, knee injury, but he might be out for Game Week 1 because of that injury. And we know his injury past is not the best, so maybe that's a sign you should move on from Udogie. But Van de Ven is going to be surely popular from the same team at the same price and with better defensive contributions numbers as well. Maxim de Kuiper is someone that I have considered, but he's not like super involved in my drafts mostly. A lot of people expect him to be good offensively because he has some really good offensive numbers for his team, Club Rouge, I think he played for in Belgium. And also Estupinian has left for Milan, so it seems like de Kuiper is going to be the starting left back pretty assuredly so. I had him with 33 starts, I think, over the course of the season in my starting lineups video yesterday. But for me, we had a really attacking fullback, or previously attacking fullback, left back at Brighton last season in Estupinian, but he barely got any goals or assists. Like, he was not close to what he used to be back in the day in FPL. So yeah, I don't know, in the Hersley system, I'm not sure if the Kuiper is going to be able to go as offensively as people expect him to be, but he's still an interesting pick for sure in the template squad. In the midfield, let's move on to that. Salah and Palmer are pretty standard, but like I said, if Isak moves to Liverpool, a lot of people will go for him for Liverpool cover instead and ditch Salah because he is so expensive. Personally, I think that would be a mistake because I think Salah is always so good at the start of the season, and I think he's the best captain's option by far still. I think he's still going to be on penalties because he is very selfish when it comes to penalties. And he's going to find a way to score or assist or get all the points basically in FPL. So I would personally still keep Salah even if Isak comes in, I'm pretty sure. Palmer is someone that is pretty nailed in most teams. My team, he's pretty nailed now as well, especially with Saka not being as valuable, with Gyökeres coming in and potentially taking penalties away from him. Because he's not as selfish as Salah when it comes to penalties. So Palmer is pretty confidently in my squad as well. I think Rodgers is another player that I have been pretty enamored by since the start of the season. I had a lot of good experiences with him last season, and he makes the template squad as well because a lot of people have figured out that 7.0 for a guaranteed starter at a good team who has contributed with points only last season. Like, even last season he contributed with points. Like, that's a pretty surefire good player there as well. Kudus, pretty simple player to have as well in the template squad. Spurs have such good fixtures. Kudus is a bit underpriced potentially because he has that super high potential and now plays for Thomas Frank, who has had some pretty good right wing players in the past in Brian Mbeumo namely, so Kudus could be really good. Elliot Anderson, he's not someone that is picked pretty highly by the general player base, but among people on Twitter and online, he is one of the so-called hidden gems, not so hidden anymore for like engaged FPL managers because he's so good at defensive contributions. He's taking some more set pieces with Langa gone as well, so he's a pretty popular pick for 5.5 as well. Ndiaye is someone that I didn't have in the squad here either. He's also very much template, so could definitely have him over Kudus or Rodgers potentially. But yeah, just wasn't enough room or enough money for him here. Potentially could also downgrade one of the strikers because Chris Wood is in the template team and he's not picked as much as most other people. So maybe pick a cheaper striker like Welbeck, for example, than Chris Wood, and then have Ndiaye rather than Anderson to have like the perfect template team. So maybe I should change that in the guide as well. Up front also, João Pedro and Solanke, they are definites in the template squad. João Pedro is the most owned player in the game. And also among like more engaged FPL managers, he's also pretty highly owned. Solanke is also another huge fan favorite this season, it seems like. But he's also kind of similar to Udogie, is struggling with injuries, kind of like it was last season, so there are some doubts about him. But he's probably the penalty taker, with Son looking to leave potentially. And Solanke is going to play up front under Thomas Frank, which is always a good idea because Ivan Toney and Johan Wissa, even Mbeumo when he's played up front, have been really good in that system in the past. Chris Wood as well makes it into the squad as the final striker, just because he had such a good start to last season. Gibbs White has stayed with Nottingham Forest as well. And now they got Dan Ndoye as well as the right winger, so they're actually pretty good offensively as well still, and they have pretty much the same squad defensively as well. So I think Nottingham Forest will still be a pretty good team this season, even though they won't reach the heights of last season basically. But yeah, that's the template squad. Just pretty quickly gone through that, I guess. Trying not to go too far in this video because I tend to speak for too long, and there's 4 teams to go through. So let's go on to the next team. As you can see here in the guide, I've basically written about all the different players and why they're in the squad as well. But yeah, I don't have to read through that because I basically did it orally now, I guess, speaking to you guys. Anyways, here is the differential squad, and there are 2 rules to the differential squad. One is that you can't pick, that I can't pick any player that was in the template squad. And the other rule is that all put together, this differential squad can't have a total ownership of more than 100% in the actual game. So yeah, that is going to change with Trafford going to Man City. He's going to be a very popular pick, probably going to be around 30-40% owned overall in the game, probably like more so like 60, 70, 80, 90% probably amongst engaged FPL managers, but he's in there for now at least before he moves to Man City. But I still have some doubts about him starting with Ortega in the mix as well. Pep Guardiola has been prone to rouletting, as he usually does with his team, both in the goalkeeper position and outfield positions. Last season, for example, Ederson and Ortega sort of did a 50-50 split just about. They kept like rotating who started there for Man City. Petrovic, I think, is a really nice differential for Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth are going to be really good across the season, but he doesn't have the best fixture in Game Week 1 against Liverpool, of course. Munoz, still a really nice differential, really good offensive-minded player. I think Palace will be better from the start of the season this time around, so I think Munoz will be a good pick. Neco Williams, really good at defensive contributions, plays for a Nottingham Forest team that has really easy fixtures and still has a really good backline. Senesi for Bournemouth, again, tough first fixture, but Senesi is a defensive contributions kind of monster. He's also someone that scored a lot of goals 2 seasons ago when he was playing as the main centre-back next to Zabarny for Bournemouth, so I think he has a lot of potential. Joachim Andersen, the same with for Fulham. He's also someone that has been 5.0 in the past, like Senesi, and I think they can live up to that level again, especially with the defensive contributions. I think there are some really nice 4.5 defenders to have in this game. Dorgo as well in the differential squad. He's also there, super attacking guy. If Man United have a good season, he could be a really good player, especially for later on in the season once the fixtures are a bit better for Man United. Saka is also a bit of a differential now. People are sort of fleeing away from him, choosing Palmer, choosing Gyökeres, for example, but we know Saka is still a really dependable FPL asset, even when he gives away penalties. We've seen that in the past, giving it to Havertz, giving it to Ødegaard. He's still a really good FPL asset, so I think he should be in consideration still as well. Marmoush is fantastic. He is someone that is definitely in consideration for me because he has such a high level of play. I think I wrote in the actual differential squad in the guide here that he has the potential to be the best player in the league, and I actually mean that because he is just fantastic, and I think he's going to show that this season, so he's really good. Ismail Assar is not going to be the best player in the Premier League, but he has his moments. On his day, he's unplayable. He's absolutely fantastic. I almost swore there because he is so good, so fast. So he's someone that could go and get off to a fast start, actually, even though Palace don't have the best fixtures. Dwight McNeil, I think, is kind of underrated in terms of him versus Ndiaye from Everton. He's 0.5 cheaper. He's also someone that is on a lot of set pieces, and he's just really good. And when he came back from injury last season, he was really, really good under David Moyes. So I think he's someone that you could definitely take a look at, especially if you need that 0.5. You can always downgrade Ndiaye to McNeil and get some extra money in the bank. John Arias from Wolves, I think, is also someone that is overlooked because the bad early fixtures, the first 4 game weeks, aren't the best for Wolves. But from game week 5 onwards, he could be a really nice player, stepping into the hole left by Matthias Cunha there for Wolverhampton. Up front, Haaland is a pretty big differential. He is picked by around 18% overall, and quite a few, a little bit of engaged managers have him as well. He might be the pivot if people go away from Salah, if Isak comes into Liverpool, so that might be someone else that is going to be in the template team eventually, but for now it seems like he's not that highly owned compared to Salah, for example. Watkins is also someone that is really, really nice, also someone that has gotten a little bit of buzz. He's not quite the super differential. A lot of people are going to have Watkins because he is such a reliable, good striker. I've said this from the start of this season. I think his 9.0 price point is pretty damn good. So yeah, Watkins is really a player. Strand Larsen as well, same as with John Arias. He is someone that is also set to be really good from game week 5 onwards once the fixtures clears up, and he's looking really good in terms of playing. I think the next 5 fixtures, between game week 5 and game week 10, I think they have the 3 promoted sides in those 5 fixtures, and the other 2 matches are against Spurs at home and someone else that isn't too bad. So yeah, Wolves players are definitely someone that you can get on early. I already have Agbadou as well in my own team. He could have easily been in the differential squad here as well from Wolves, because they're going to be really good from game week 5-ish onwards, in my opinion, or game week 3 onwards as well, even, because they have a pretty good fixture at home to Everton. So yeah, Wolves definitely a team to keep an eye on as well for later on in the season, pretty soon into the season as well. So that's the differential squad. I've gone through each and every player there as well. Let's move on to the early chip squad, or should we actually save that for last? I don't know. I'm not going to go through the whole chip strategy and how you can do it in game week 2 and game week 3. I've thought about maybe going through it and showing you, but it's basically just triple captain in game week 2 potentially with the Arsenal players against Leeds at home, which I think could be a really nice opportunity to have someone that is pretty lowly owned who could be really good. Gyökeres could be pretty highly owned eventually though, because he seems like a pretty popular pick at 9.0. That's why I was kind of wishing he was going to be 9.5 so I can have him as more of a differential, but him as a triple captain to choice in game week 2 could be good. And with this early chip squad, as you can see, a lot of players with good fixtures in game week 1. Starting in goal, we have Seltz and Verbruggen against Brentford at home and Fulham at home. Really, really nice. In defense, we have Gabriel against Man United away, Murillo against Brentford at home, Jake O'Brien from Everton against Leeds away, Wan-Bissaka against Sunderland away, Udogie against Burnley at home. Really good fixtures all across the board almost. Saka against Man United away, Mohamed Salah against Bournemouth at home as the captain, basically. And yeah, we have room for here against Leeds away. Baleba at 5.0, who's a good defensive contributions guy against Fulham at home in a pretty tightly contested game, I think. So hopefully get some good defensive contribution points if you have him. He's there against Fulham at home, and then Kudus against Burnley at home as well in the midfield. Up front, we have Gyökeres against Man United away, Beto against Leeds away, and Jared Bowen against Sunderland away. I think this is a pretty good Game Week 1 squad. Even Game Week 2, they have pretty decent fixtures. It's just the Spurs players that you have to bench, I guess, in Udogie and Kudus. But you have a pretty good squad in Game Week 2 as well. Game Week 3 is going to be a bit of an issue otherwise, but since this is the early chip squad, you're going to be able to use the free hit. Also in Game Week 2, like I mentioned, triple Arsenal. That's mainly for Game Week 2 when they have that Leeds at home fixture. Gabriel, Saka, and Gyökeres would be really nice in that fixture as well. So yeah, I think it's pretty well set up for a triple captaincy in Game Week 2. And then free hit in Game Week 3, which is my favorite free hit week. I don't really know why it hasn't caught on yet, because I think it's pretty obvious for me, the fact that both Newcastle and Man United players who are not picked at all in Game Week 1 have such amazing fixtures in Game Week 3, and there's no reason to buy them in Game Week 3 either, because the fixtures after Game Week 3 are not good, the fixtures before Game Week 3 are not good, but the fixtures in Game Week 3 are absolutely fantastic, and I think that's the prime area to target a free hit for, basically. So that's my idea for a good time when it comes to the free hit chip. It also means that I can do some changes. Also, I can have more Arsenal and Liverpool players in my Game Week 1 squad, because I can just free hit them out in Game Week 3 as well when they face each other, which is one of their toughest matches early on. Arsenal actually have pretty good, like if you remove Game Week 3, Arsenal's first 4 matches, or Game Week 1, Game Week 2, and Game Week 3 are actually really good. And if you remove Game Week 3 for Liverpool, their matches post Game Week 3, including Game Week 1 as well, but Game Week 4, like a couple of game weeks after that as well, are also looking a lot better for Liverpool if you have free hit in Game Week 3, basically. But yeah, with this team, you can actually survive until at least Game Week 7, maybe Game Week 6 as well. I think that might be a good wildcard window as well, if you can't save the wildcard for later. If you need to do it, like with this squad, for example, you would probably need to wildcard a bit earlier. Game Week 6 could be really nice to have some City players. You can also go early on with Arsenal players. They do have Newcastle away, but after that they have really good fixtures from Game Week 7 onwards, so you could just go early with Arsenal players if you don't have them already. But in this squad, you actually have them already, so maybe you can save the wildcard even further as well. But yeah, quite like this team in general. I think it's a pretty nice bench boost team for Game Week 1 if you're looking to do that. It will hamper you, of course, because you're going to be set to do a lot of chips early, so you better hope that you have a good start of the season, or an amazing start of the season, rather, because you will be able to, well, you'll struggle to keep up later on in the season when everyone uses their chips, basically. But yeah, I think this is a fun squad to look at as well. So yeah, more things in the guide. You can see that I've written about all the players. I'm actually a print journalist by trade, so this is actually my real job, writing, usually in Norwegian, but I am pretty good at English as well since I've lived in England, which is why I have not a British accent, but I do have like sort of like a mixture of things, I guess, mostly American accent because of Kevin, my co-host on the podcast, who is born and raised in the US, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, again, another thing that I think is really nice about the guide is that I've done it for so many seasons. I've done it since like the 18-19 or 17-18 season just about. And every single season I try to work out at the end of the season what was the best zombie team, the best team that you could have had if you started with a team in Game Week 1 and didn't do any changes all the way up until Game Week 38. And I've done this every season, try to work out the best zombie team every single time. So there's a lot of data in this FPL guide about that, about the previous seasons. I'll show you in this guide as well. So this is the zombie team from last season onwards. I think you can only see the starting lineup. You don't see the bench here, but yeah, again, Ederson was good in conjunction with Sells. They got a lot of points put together. You can see Sells here is on the bench as well. Let me see actually if you can see the whole team if I go down that. Now you can't actually see it, so yeah, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, Ederson and Sells was a good goalkeeper combination with 166 points in total for a goalkeeper. That's a pretty good goalkeeper score. Trent Alexander-Arnold, who now has left the Premier League, he was a legend in FPL and he still made it in the zombie squad again for like the fourth or fifth time, I think, from the last like 8 zombie squads. He was there. Gabriel as well was really good at the start of the season before he got injured. Got a lot of points. That's always a really nice thing with the zombie squad. Usually players that play really well for a brief period of time and then they are out for some reason. They're usually pretty good for the zombie squad, which is really tough to predict before the start of the season. But after, once you can walk through the team again, it's pretty nice. Milenkovic was really good for that Nottingham Forest team. Imagine if he had the defensive contributions last season as well, how good value he would be. Basically, Salah, the greatest season of all time in FPL, 688 points in total as your captain every single game week. That was a pretty good strategy last season just to have him as perma-captain. I think that was a good strategy. Palmer, sadly, was really struggling towards the end of the season, but his really good early season form made him into the team as well. Mbuemo was there, really good value. Both Mbuemo and Wissa for Brentford. Bowen, again, really good value. That's why you should consider him again for your team this season, especially with Sunderland at home away in the first match. Isak, really good value at 9 million. He was someone that was badly priced last season. Everyone had him from game week 1, and he did struggle towards at the start of the season. But then once it got going again, he was really, really good, and you never look back if you had him. Same with Chris Wood, or maybe you look back a little bit at the end of the season with Chris Wood, because he sort of tapered off towards the end, but he was so good at the start that he made it into the squad as well. On the bench, we had Sells as the backup goalkeeper, or basically the starting goalkeeper, because Ederson didn't play that many matches as well. Kluivert had some really explosive matches. Hat-trick, for example, is amongst these 23 points here. Aït-Nouri as well, really explosive player. And Konsa had some really nice game weeks towards the end of the season as well, where he got some nice points. So that's the key to choosing the best possible zombie team, is having really explosive players on the bench. Aït-Nouri, who we know can get either 2 points or 15 points in any given game. At least that was the case for him at Wolves. And Kluivert, who can score a hat-trick, or he can blank in several games as well. Those are the best players to have on the bench in these zombie teams, basically. But yeah, like I said, there's a lot of data from previous zombie teams, as you can see here as well. All the goalkeepers from all the different iterations of the zombie teams that I made throughout the years in this FPL guide. I keep track of it every single year in this guide, and it's pretty interesting to see the players that have been the best for the entirety of the season, the most valuable players really in the game in each and every season since the 17-18 season, pretty far back. We're almost getting close to 10 years now, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, so you can see here, also gone through, you can see a bit of a spoiler in terms of like who's the starting players in the zombie team. So let's just go down to the zombie team. It's the same with defenders, the same with midfielders, the same with forwards from seasons past who have been the best for the zombie team, and also all of my selections and why I've selected them for this current zombie team, as you can see right here. So let's scroll down to that. You can actually see the whole team this time around, I think. Well, you can't really see the bench players. Let me try to get those in the picture as well. At least now you get the names of the bench players. So this is my current suggestion for you if you are looking to do a zombie team and have the same team all the way from game week 1 through game week 38 without doing any changes. A lot of people play FPL that way, or not a lot of people, but some people play FPL that way. And I think it looks quite fun, especially if you're one of the guys who's complaining about, or girls, I should say, who are complaining about the AFCON transfers and the double chips, and there's too many rules and there's the game's gone, basically. This is how you play it old school style, where you just select one team for the entirety of the season and hope that it does well enough to be really good for you in FPL, basically. But yeah, looking at the team, I have little hope of Kinski starting the season for the Spurs. But if it doesn't, I think Petrovic is going to play mostly every game, so it doesn't really matter that much. I just wanted to have a 4.0 goalkeeper that could potentially start and have him as a starter to play. And if he gets dropped, you always have Petrovic to come in and do real business as well as the backup goalkeeper, pretty much. Frimpong, I think, over the course of the season, especially for a zombie team, I think is going to be really good, because he's going to have really explosive periods, including when Salah leaves for AFCON. I think Frimpong could potentially be playing as a right winger for Liverpool with Conor Bradley behind him. That could be the way they solve things with Liverpool, especially if Harvey Elliott gets sold. And he could be really explosive in those time frames, really, when he gets to play a lot. And I think, like, when he doesn't play, when he gets benched, because that's going to happen, Conor Bradley is going to have some games. I think Frimpong is going to be pretty nailed, but I think Conor Bradley is going to play some games as well. But when Conor Bradley plays, it's not really a given that Frimpong comes in as a substitute, because, yeah, it's a right back. You don't always bring on your right backs from your bench. So I think he's someone that could be really explosive some game weeks, have 0 minutes other game weeks where you get Senesi or Esteve off the bench as the defenders here. I think he's a really good pick. You also have someone that's a bit more stable, or a lot more stable, in Nico Williams, who's going to just get points across the season. He's going to pick up like 4-pointers and 6-pointers and even 9-pointers sometimes when he gets assists and stuff. Even 11-pointers maybe, with defensive contributions, assists, bonus points, clean sheet points, all that put together as well. So yeah, there's a lot of things, a lot of ways to get points here in FPL, especially for Nico Williams, who's both good at defensive contributions and is pretty good when it comes to open play, attacking threat as well. Anderson, who I said in the differential squad, is a really nice player to have. I think across the season he's going to get a lot of points, because I think Fulham are pretty good defensively. And Anderson is also really good when it comes to the defensive contributions number. I think the defensive contributions are especially important for the zombie team, because this is where you need to play your players every single game week. So you actually get every single defensive contribution point from Anderson that he has this season. When you have him in your squad, you're probably going to bench him in the tougher games against like Manchester City and Liverpool, and he might get the defensive contribution points there when you bench him. But in this squad, in the zombie squad, you're not going to bench him. He's going to play every single minute that he plays in the Premier League. He's going to get for your team, and he's going to get every single defensive contribution points that he'll accumulate across the season. So I think defensive contribution points are fun, or not fun. I don't really like it myself that much, honestly, but I think they are like a positive to you in your day-to-day FPL life when you're doing changes every week. But I think it's way more important when you don't make changes and you just have the same players every single week collecting defensive contribution points in really tough matches where they don't get points otherwise, pretty much. Salah, easy captaincy choice. If you look through the zombie teams here, I can go up to the midfield section actually. Look at the performer zombie teams. 17-18, Salah is there. 18-19 was actually not there. Sterling was really good. Hazard was really good. Pogba was really good. That was his like super good season. 19-20, Salah was there. 20-21, Salah was there. 21-22, Salah was there. 22-23, Salah was there. 23-24, he was not there actually because he was too expensive, I guess. And that was when Haaland was all the rage and was really, really good as well. Or he was pretty expensive following his debut season. But last season again, Salah was back in the fold because he is just undeniable when it comes to FPL. Of course, he was back last season when he was that good and got so many points. I think this 17-18 season was actually his debut season when he got 303 points. And this past season was when he got, what's the number again? 688, so he got 344 points last season, a record in FPL in general, basically. So yeah, but let's go back to the zombie team to finish off this video where I talk about all the squads that I have in the guide. Marmoush as well. I have a lot of faith in Marmoush across the season. I think he's going to be pretty damn nailed for Man City, and I think he's going to show his full potential for Manchester City this season as well. So I think he's going to be a really nice player to have. Still contemplating whether to have him or not in my Game Week 1 squad. It's either him or Palmer most likely, which is kind of an interesting choice there for me, basically. But I think he's really good. I also think Matheus Cunha is going to be really good for the season. You can also see he has the vice captaincy armband there as well. Normally, I think Marmoush would be the better like vice captain in terms of like being explosive in the games that Salah doesn't play. But what you have to remember when it comes to the zombie team is the fact that African combinations is a thing in December, and Salah and Marmoush are both going to play for Egypt. They're both going to miss games from Game Week 16 to Game Week 21, and you need a different vice captain who doesn't play in the African Cup of Nations to step in those game weeks. And Cunha has really good matches there. Cunha, I think, is also someone that is going to be sneakily good this season. He is a really good player. I think he's going to give a lot of nice qualities to Man United, and he didn't really get affected by penalties last season at all either. I don't think he scored a penalty even last season, so I don't think that's going to be a big issue for him with Man United not having penalties anymore, because he didn't really take any penalties last season. So I think Cunha is going to be really good across the season. That's also another reason why I really like him in the free hit in Game Week 3, basically. Morgan Rogers, I've said so many times that I really like him for the price of 7.0. I think he's underpriced by quite a distance. He's 2 million cheaper than Watkins, and I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Watkins is worth 9 million, and I don't think Rogers is going to be 2 million worth 2 million less than Watkins across the season either. So I think he's going to be even better value than Watkins pretty much. So he's undervalued. I really like him in the squad as well. He's also someone that is reliable. You can rely on every single week because you don't want too many players to blank at once, because you will have less than 11 players, which is less than ideal in FPL. Up front, Gyökeres, I think for 9.0, I think that's a really, really cheap price for him, honestly. I think 9.5 would have probably been, like, at the end of the season, I think we will end up agreeing that 9.5 probably would have been the better price for him, because I think he's going to outperform his price currently. There's obviously a bit of hesitation when new strikers come into the Premier League. We have so many bad experiences in the past. Arsenal have struggled at the striker position for a long time. But personally, I think Gyökeres is more than capable of being super good from the get-go, even in FPL. He's currently in my FPL Game Week 1 squad. And I think he could be someone that is in a lot of squads for me throughout this season. Same could be said about Jared Bowen, who is fantastic. He got 193 points last season in one of the worst West Ham teams ever, basically. So if West Ham get any way near better, especially now with Paquetá probably being a better player this season with no charges, hopefully hanging over his head, he is someone that has linked up really well with Bowen in the past, and he could really help Bowen get even more points and eclipse that 200-point mark. And I think Bowen is just going to be fantastic, even though he's listed as a forward, which is not ideal. I think he loses points from scoring goals and from clean sheets, but he also gains bonus points when he scores because he gets more BPS per goal as a striker than he did as a midfielder. So I think it sort of levels itself out a little bit, even though he gets less points also for every goal as well. He gets 4 points rather than 5 now as the forward in the game, but he is still really, really good. Evan Nilsson is also really, really good. I think he is someone that is going to be really good towards later on in the season as well. He has Liverpool away in the first game, which is scaring a lot of people off, but he's also 7.0, which is a really cheap price, 0.5 less than a lot of other strikers that I think are comparable to him. So I think he's actually a really good price. So I think once he's past the Liverpool fixture, he's going to be really nice to have in FPL as well. Petrovic already set in goal. He's basically the de facto starting goalkeeper because Kinski is most likely not going to play. Then on the bench we also have Tijani Reinders, so I think it's going to be really good, especially once Marmoush leaves for African Cup of Nations. I think Reinders is going to be getting more forward in the team and get some goals. I have likened Reinders to Gundogan. He's sort of taking over that role at Man City, someone that can move forward and score important goals for Manchester City. He proved that in Milan last season, that he can score a lot of goals from a lot of different angles and stuff. He's a pretty good finisher, really good finisher actually. Has some really nice passes and stuff as well. I'm just a huge fan of his, and I think for 5.5 he's a really good player. He could potentially be a good starter as well, rather than Evan Nilsson potentially as well in this team. But yeah, for now, since he's a new player, we don't really know exactly about his playing time and stuff. I prefer to have him on the bench and have him more ready to play later on in the season when there's more injuries and more issues where he needs to step in, and when he's also probably more likely to play every single game for Man City as well, or most games, because you never know with Pep roulette and stuff with Man City. Senesi, huge fan of his as well in FPL this season. Senesi and Anderson are two of my favorite 4.5 defenders. Actually my two favorites, because I do have them in the zombie team as the best valued players for the entirety of the season. So Senesi, really good defensive contributions numbers. I think Bournemouth are going to be pretty similarly good defensively this season, and Senesi has been so good in the past when it comes to both bonus points and when it comes to goals as well. So yeah, I think he's going to be having a really good season this year in FPL as well. Finally, Estev for Burnley, Steve, however you want to pronounce his name. He is someone that is reliable to play at least. That's what we want from a third bench guy who's not going to come in that much, but he's going to come in here and there, hopefully, if the team stays mostly injury-free. And when he comes in, he could get some defensive contribution points, potentially, because he plays for a Burnley team that are going to defend quite a lot. And he could also get a cheeky clean sheet here and there. So that is the final player in the zombie team, basically. So yeah, that is me going through all the 4 teams in the whole guide here, in the FPL Scope guide. I hope you also check out the guide yourself. There's more content here as well. The starting lineups that I made a video about yesterday, as you can check out once you get to the end of this video. I'll link to that video as well, about the starting lineups for all 20 teams. Eventually, we're going to have set piece takers and stuff, and who to follow, like who are the most important accounts to follow, what type of sites and stuff do I use to keep up with FPL and do well. FPL Game Week, Live FPL, all those kinds of things. I'm going to list that in the guide eventually. So yeah, the guide is going to be continuously updated until the start of the season, basically, Game Week 1. That's when I sort of draw the line, because yeah, I don't want to update it in its entirety. I want to keep making videos for the rest of the season as well once the season gets ahead. So that will be my primary focus from Game Week 1 onwards, pretty much. But for now, check out the guide, check out my other videos as well. I made a video pretty much every single weekday since FPL launched, and I plan on doing almost that, because I'm going to Sri Lanka on a wedding trip, celebrating the wedding of a friend of mine, the brother of Kevin, who is the co-host with me on the FPL Scope podcast. So that's going to happen in Sri Lanka. I'm going to record some videos, hopefully. I still haven't made those, but I'm hopefully going to be able to record enough videos to have some content for you while I'm in Sri Lanka as well. Otherwise, I might even bring my mic and my camera and all that stuff to Sri Lanka to make videos from there as well, from my hotel room. That might happen as well if I don't get to make the videos in time, because those are going to be more like timeless videos. At least one of them is going to be like my best tips and tricks for like what I do when I look at Fantasy Premier League, what I do in terms of squad structure, in terms of transfers. I think there's like a different transfer philosophy to goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders, strikers, and what you should look out for, how many hits you should take. Like there's a lot of like minutia interesting tips I can tell you about FPL that I've picked up throughout my 15 or 16 years of playing FPL. So yeah, and also all the new rules and all that stuff, I'm going to go more deep into that, chip strategy, all that stuff. We're going to go deeper into that, and hopefully at some point I'll get to the defensive contributions and make more like a deep dive myself as well, and see if it's actually worth the hype or not, because it's getting a lot of hype lately. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. This was supposed to be like a shorter video, but it ended up being 35 minutes, because that's usually what I do. I just talk and talk and talk, and I hope you enjoy that, because that is basically what you're going to get from this channel. You could always go back and forth in the video and yeah, fast forward, go back and check out the teams previously or later in the video as well. You're free to do that, but of course I would really appreciate it if you watch most of the content, because that is what I'm trying to do now, get enough watch hours to be a YouTube partner and get even more reasons to make really good content for you guys and make even better content. I'm going to stream at some point probably as well, hopefully actually for Game Week 1 on the Friday before the deadline. I'm trying to get my first stream ready for that, so we'll see if I can be able to do that. I can't guarantee it yet, but I'm definitely going to try to get there as well. So yeah, lastly, I also want to urge you to join the FPL Scope Mini League with the league code FNPQ83, FNPQ83. That's the league code. It will also be in the description. As if you join the FPL Scope Mini League and you have the highest score in a game week once the season starts, you'll get featured in the video as the manager of the week, where I talk about your team from this past game week where you scored the highest score, and also talk about your team for the next game week that's coming up, and also talking a little bit about your team in general as well, because I want to give back a little bit to the community that has been watching my videos and commenting and all that stuff. Again, also comment down in this video as well. All engagement is nice, like in the video comments especially, I really like, because I can actually engage with you guys and exchange ideas when it comes to FPL. You can give me either praise or criticism or ask me for advice, all that stuff. A lot of different things I can do when it comes to comments, and I usually respond to every comment, especially that's what I've been doing this preseason, and I tend to do that normally as well, but sometimes I don't. Like in previous seasons, I haven't always had the time to do so, but now I'm very focused on this channel and growing this channel, so hopefully you can help me in that endeavor. So with all out of the way, thank you for watching. I was pretty coherent at least throughout this video. That's not always the case with me, so I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, which I usually say several times. I kind of shot on my leg straight away, said I was coherent, and then repeated myself. But anyways, thank you for watching for a third time. See you next time. Bye-bye.